Copa Airlines is to the Americas what, let's say, Egypt Air is to North Africa and the Middle East, or Iceland Air is trying to be between Europe and North America. Not in quality, but in function. Copa, based in Panama City, Panama, is literally at the crossroads of North and South America, and has become a vital connection point to get from one to the other, often for less money than anybody else. Are they any good though? That's the only thing I really wanted to know, and we're going to find out today. By the way, did you know that the score I give a flight or a resort is always relative to the price that I pay? Try doing that with sponsored flights. Let me welcome any of you that might be new to the channel. My name is Kevin. I'm here to give you a self-funded and honest look at some of the best, and some of the not so best, airlines and hotels in the world, which I've been bringing to you full-time for the past 4 years. Check out my hundreds of videos, scan the QR code, or click the link in the description to learn more about how I do things. Let's get to the airport. So, welcome to, oh dear, 3 a.m. in Mexico City, as I make my way to Terminal 2 of Mexico City's Benito Juarez International Airport, for the first of 2 flights in this video, which will take us to Punta Cana. I always thought that this was an odd-looking terminal from the inside when transiting, but driving to this thing, especially in the dark, it feels like you're about to board a ferry to outer space. I love Mexico City, but your airport is just plain weird. No way around that. Once you get inside, your senses will be near delighted by the unrelenting sound of whatever this song is supposed to be. Copa has 6 or more daily flights to Panama City from Mexico City, and so they have a permanent check-in counter to the far left of the check-in hall. One of the few carriers to operate out of Terminal 2 besides Aeromexico and Delta.
We've had enough of this nonsense.
If you're looking up there at the logo, wondering if this is a subsidiary of United Airlines, well, kinda, but also very, very much no. I was hopeful for lounge access today, but none of them were open at this early hour, and unbeknownst to me, all of the Aeromexico lounges were actually closed completely, undergoing renovations. I'll get into that more though next time I pass through Mexico City, and show you my 7-hour layover with nowhere to sit. Copa had its first flight in 1947, serving domestic routes until the 1960s, when they began to expand internationally. From 1980 until 2015, they got rid of all of the domestic routes to focus on international ones, and specifically connectivity. Panama City's tagline of the Hub of the Americas began in 1992, when they signed an agreement with TACA, now Avianca El Salvador, to sell connecting tickets through to South America. That is when things started to boom for Copa. In 1998, they began a 10-year strategic partnership with Continental Airlines, Continental owning 49% of the carrier at that point. Copa rebranded and took some deep inspiration from Continental. I've always thought of it as Continental was more Epcot and Copa was more AT&T. Since then, it's been more or less just very slow and steady growth for Copa, giving them one of the most unique route maps of any airline on Earth. The longest possible trip you could take with them would be from San Francisco to Montevideo, 6.5 to 7 hours on each flight. On board, it's a standard 2x2 recliner situation for our 16-year-old 737-800. The greetings as we boarded, as well as the service that followed up with that, could be described easily in one word: tired. As I imagine, this is a brutal middle-of-the-night turnaround for the crew, and they needed coffee as much as everyone else on board. But they were, I suppose, well-intentioned. I'll give you the full seat tour on the next flight. It's the same seat, but in much better light, well, with light, and less passengers. For this one, just look at the legroom on offer for the bulkhead. I'll admit that I was a little bit jealous of the cutout that my neighbor had. I don't know why I don't get that too. Pre-departure drinks were passed around, the safety video began, and we pushed back, taxiing for what would be a beautiful sunrise takeoff. Seems we had a stowaway with either the strongest grip known to man, or the ability to get in between the window panes. An hour after takeoff, the meal service began. It was a simple tray service, and on offer were chilaquiles with chicken or a chicken and cheese sandwich. I love chilaquiles, so this was an easy choice, but this one was a little bit sad. But fully edible. This was served with some cut fruit and a croissant. Overall, I'd put this at around a 6.5 out of 10. Let's get on the ground with some beautiful views of Panama City on the way, and I'll take you to the Copa Lounge. If you're enjoying the video and would like to support the channel, there are many ways that you can do so. A quick like on the video and subscribe helps the videos with the algorithm. You could join my YouTube channel memberships to get early access to some videos and access to all of my community posts. Or you could check out my Patreon, where I post the most and can help you out with any travel related questions. Whatever you do, thanks for doing it. Panama City has a big, beautiful new terminal, which neither of my flights were visiting. They are connected airside though, so you could walk over there. But with just over 2 hours for my connection, I decided to stay in Terminal 1. Older terminal aside, it is a pretty easy airport to transit through, with no security checks. You're just let loose into the airport. As I was looking for the lounge, I saw that I had 2 emails from Copa while I was in the air. One saying my second flight was delayed an hour, and the other one saying that my second flight was cancelled. Copa has up to 9 flights per day to Punta Cana, so I figured they just consolidated my flight with another flight, which was meant to depart 15 minutes earlier. The screens in the terminal, though, said nothing about this, so I asked at the lounge, and they had no idea why the emails were even sent out. There were no delays, no cancellations, nothing, thankfully. The lounge is a decent space to sit and get some work done, and that's about it. I fully understand Copa is not trying to be Qatar Airways, but I do think that this was the saddest selection of food that I've seen in a business class lounge of any major or attempting to be major airline. I guess, though, major is a relative term. Ranked by the number of daily flights, Copa is the 71st largest airline on Earth, with 321 daily flights at the time of writing. You might be surprised to know that that's more daily flights than Cathay Pacific or Aeromexico, and just a hair less than Singapore Airlines. They operate those flights with a fleet of 102 Boeing 737s of 4 different variations, with 53 more on order. Our gate was changed a few times, and then we settled on 127, which is literally a gate in a hallway, so it was a bit congested. I do love the boarding screens they do, like many US carriers though, showing you the live seat map and telling me that I'd have a pair to myself. Stepping on board could not have possibly been more night and day compared to the previous flight. Same kind of plane, same kind of product, but this crew was energetic and happy as a clam. Almost as if they were the ones going on vacation. All the rest of us just seemed tired. Here we can get a much better view of the seats on offer. Copa has 2 versions of their business class cabin. What you see here, the 2x2 recliners, will generally be on all of your shorter routes, with some longer routes offering 2x2 full flat seating. You'll find these on their 32 737 MAX 9s. The seats were smart looking, maintained well despite not being the newest things, and they were comfortable enough for, I'd say, a sub 5-hour flight, helped out by the great legroom. Let's get in the air and we'll have a slightly more expansive meal service. On this flight, the business class cabin was half full, and very shortly after takeoff, we were served drinks and a snack mix, which was a nice touch that I wasn't expecting. For the main dish, we had a choice of cheesy pasta or a ham and cheese sandwich. I went with the sandwich, which was, I think, turkey, not ham, and it was served with some sort of smoked salmon, cream cheese spread, and cheese crackers. Cheese was a theme today. I'll be the first to admit, this doesn't look like much, but I was kind of surprised at how good it all was. The sandwich was fresh on a nice soft brioche roll, the cream cheese was good as well, and those crackers were like crack. Overall, an 8 out of 10. The very attentive crew were trying their best to get everyone into the vacation spirit by offering cocktails or wine to anyone. But, gotta say, we didn't really match their energy. After the meal, they passed around some chocolates, which was a nice local touch. Bathrooms on board both flights were basic but kept clean. So, do I think Copa Airlines is inspiring anyone to create a personal Wanderlust Instagram account? No. But do they get the job done quite nicely, with a well thought out brand identity, for a great price? Yeah, they do. They often have the lowest prices you'll find connecting North and South America, both in business and economy, sometimes competing with Avianca for the cheapest fares. But via Air Canada's Aeroplan, it's very easy to find business class fares like today for just around 25,000 miles. Considering there are no non-stop flights between Mexico City and Punta Cana, I enjoyed simply not having to connect in the US. Overall, I'd say there are 6. It might look like a very mid-experience in general, but remember, these rankings are compared to what they're trying to do, and I think they've picked a lane, and I think they do it pretty well. Not to mention, they offer connectivity between some city pairs that you're just not going to find with anybody else. A beautiful landing in DR is coming up. So I really do hope that you enjoyed this quick trip report today. If you did, please be sure to click that like button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on my weekly flight and resort videos. And look at this, my worlds are colliding. I'll see you next time from here at the Hilton La Romana in Punta Cana. Kinda. As always, thanks for watching until the end.